Everyone. It's Chris and Luke from the Phoenix RIA on our Tuesday call.
Yo.
And we're not just on the Phoenix RIA. We're on my personal Facebook page, Luke's personal Facebook page, and if you can read the big sign in the background, the Viking Boys YouTube page,
should be able to read it.
And we're getting a new view from Luke every week. It's just been growing. I'm a little jealous in my office. I just got the white background, but I am building a media room as we speak. So next week, next week I'll be in Florida. The following week, I will have something with a cool neon light behind me as well. So.
Heck yeah! It's just it's been a different background every week now because we've just been slowly moving into the new office, and so. It's been changing. We've been adding to it. We kind of getting it a little bit more like home every single time. So I think we're almost set to where we want it to be now. So we're getting there.
Yeah. The only thing I was mentioning with Luke before he got on is if you tilt your chair just a little bit, you'll just notice that Luke's being empty behind you.
Guys, I have no liquor right now. It's all gone. Why is the rum always gone? I gotta get something in there. Gotta figure that out. So still setting up.
The topic of today's discussion is CRMs, and why it kind of triggered me is because I've done some coaching in the past, and a student reached out and like, "Hey Chris, I'm so glad that I use the CRM because the CRMs that we give them have automated ringless voicemail, text follow up, email follow up, and this student just got like another $20,000 deal." Not because he did anything, it's because he put the information into his CRM and the CRM did its job, and now he's got an extra $20,000. So, we were just talking about, we were going to talk about some of the CRMs Luke uses that I use. And, if you watched our episode 2 weeks ago, we actually had Lauren Rosen on talking about commercials. I mean, that's what we were trying to get her to talk about was commercials and the expense, and she did. Yeah. And by the end of the call, we figured out that she wasn't doing any commercials anymore because the $1,500 lead expense. So,
gosh, $1,500 a lead per lead expense versus around $250. So that was a big difference there.
So the cold calling expert lead expenses now. Not as many of us are great cold callers like Luke is, so we might have a little bit more cost per lead. But
hey, it's all practice.
Yeah, practice. But what CRM do you guys use, and what follow-up systems are you using out there?
So we use Podio now. I mean, for all those years of kind of getting started, we went as cheap as possible, and a lot of people, if you've kind of heard some of the podcasts before, we've talked about it, but we used to use these bad boys right here, and so we literally just use like a filing system where you'd put it in, the month and the days, and you'd kind of just pull it out regularly. But I mean, the thing that's tough about that is it's tough to track, your numbers with it. It's tough to track really anything with it. You just basically pull it out for the day and you make the call. And so, obviously with CRMs now, there's just so many more things that they can accomplish. It's just much easier to track your dailies, your weekly, your monthly of when you need to talk to people. It's much easier to put notes in there. So we use Podio. We had ours built out for us for exactly what we needed for how our business is set up. Something that we've liked with it is it's you can kind of easily integrate other systems with it. So our team uses Smart Dialer as well, where it's made it easy for you can go ahead and record all of your calls that are being made. And so why that's nice is obviously you can go ahead and you get the call recordings dropped into your email, so you can go and listen to them, kind of pick out certain ones, see what's going on, what's happening in your calls every day. Say, hey, this needs to be changed, this needs to be changed, this needs to be moved around. And so what it does is it allows you to kind of get a better idea of why deals are maybe falling through the cracks, or maybe why you're getting deals. It just kind of has a little bit more. You can take more ownership of everything.
And what was the name of that again? I missed it.
Smart Dialer. And it's smartphone, SMRT.
Right. So there you go. If you want to train your cold callers, you can get Podio, and that plugs into. Curious,
Yeah.
what do you spend to build out your Podio? Because I remember I did it way back when. I've been off Podio for a little bit now.
You said say that one more time.
What did you spend to build it out?
I think it was like $6,000.
Okay.
I think it was like $6,000 to, and again, that's to have all the different buckets and all the buttons placed in there for, for exactly how we wanted it. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it's, with, obviously with any CRM, we're constantly adjusting it too, though. Like we ask our guys, Josh Netzon, like we ask them, hey, is there anything in here, if there is ever anything in here that you think that could be better, that that could make it more user friendly for you, just let us know. We'll reach out to the IT guy and say, hey, is there any way we can add another bucket for this, or a 30-day callback, a 60-day callback, whatever that might be, and then they can implement that into the system, so it makes it easier. Because obviously, ideally, what you're going for on a daily basis is you just want to make your CRM as user friendly for your team as possible, because they're going to be the ones that are going to be in it every single day. They're going to be the ones that are making the callbacks. They're going to be the ones that are doing all the follow up. And so if you can make it as user friendly as possible for them, and to where they really enjoy it, then it's only going to benefit you.
Yeah. So there you go. And Podio is pretty much. I mean, you can put almost any tool in there.
Yeah, so we connect ours to Mojo as well. So like Mojo Dialer is obviously that's our our cold calling system. So you can connect that to it to where it's like, okay, any lead that comes through Mojo now will get implemented and placed into Podio. So then you can have different different buckets for your different callers and your different team members.
Yeah. So can you, on your Mojo screen, I know it brings up the person's name, address, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Click a button and it moves it over.
Yeah, exactly. So you can just push all that right on over, whatever notes you're taking into, whether you're going to do them in Mojo or in Podio, you take the notes from the call, right? Whatever seller said they need another, 6 months, not quite ready yet, but, spoke about they wanted 470. I let them know we need to be at 420,000, just so you have these notes for your future calls where you can say, hey, you know what? I don't need to go through all this again. I kind of already know where we're at. They can see if this is a lead or if it's not, if this is dead, or where this is going to go. So obviously, it just makes a huge difference being able to have all that in there.
Yeah. So what I tell my coaching students uses REI Black Book. It's something that I got from a friend of mine, Andy Warner, who does some coaching.
Yeah.
Hey, you need to check out this REI Black Book. And the reason I give it to them is literally once they put in the person's name, address, all that information. As you know, I'm sure you know that you may not get them, like the lead comes in from the VA. And are you guys doing hot transfer leads from your VAs, or are all your guys still in house?
No, so we've got obviously our guys in the different countries, but then those leads come through, and those ones are not live transfer. Those come into the system, and then once they come into the system, then we'll make the phone call. From that point, we'll push for a live transfer if we have a closer, and if it's like a hot deal that's right in our office, we'll just go ahead and push for a live transfer over to the closer. But most of the time it's not. Most of the time it's let us take a look at this, see what we can kind of come up with, and we'll get right back to you in maybe an hour or something like that. Are you going to be free? What is it? It's 2 o'clock. Are you going to be free at 3 o'clock for my associate to give you a call and kind of go through some of the property details with you? And then if they say yes, great, we set that call up, and then the closer's going to go ahead and call them and see where we can take it from there.
Yeah. So why I suggest my students use REI Black Book is if you don't get them a live transfer, or when you call back, you don't get them, which happens sometimes. With REI Black Book, you put in their name and their email, and it literally does a 15-day follow-up. It sends them a text message. It sends them a ringless voicemail. It sends them an email.
Oh, wow.
Just like for 15 days, they're getting contacted. And then obviously, if you have the second conversation, it's still, you can change that from the 15-day follow-up to a follow-up. Right. So that they're always being contacted until basically they tell you to take a hike, right?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that file folder behind you doesn't do doesn't.
No, this one's pretty high tech over here, right? It's got a great follow-up system. No, this one doesn't do anything.
Yeah, so that's kind of so, and then obviously I also just started using what's it called? RealFlow is a contact management system, only because they just added a contact management system.
Okay.
And that's actually where I buy my data from. So it's kind of nice because their data is in there, and then you can do their contact management. Their follow-up system isn't quite, but you also, if you're buying data from the company anyway, you don't have to pay for the data source and the contact management.
Right.
Subscriptions, if you're not paying for the $6,000 up front like you are, the subscription model, clicks away at the credit card every day, every month.
Yeah, right, exactly. No, for sure. So I was going to ask you, Chris. So obviously, I'm not sure if a lot of people know how your business is set up, or you do a lot of dispo for people. So is your CRM, in the sense of like your dispo side, do you have it reach out to wholesalers as well and stay in contact with them, like wholesalers and agents, or is yours strictly with sellers as well?
No, so our CRM is with sellers, but no, we because we have such a large email blast, meaning 12,000 emails.
Yep.
Every day, and then if it's twice a day, it's 24,000 emails. We use iContact for our email distribution, just like any of the big email systems that are out there.
Right.
And then, honestly, we're going to, obviously when you're doing 12,000 contacts, it's not really cost feasible to do text messaging.
Right.
But if you want to know the number out there, we tracked it. The number of buyers in bottom Maricopa County, more than one property, is only 103.
Seriously? Wait, you said that bought more than one property?
The number of buyers that bought more than one property in the last 8 weeks are only 103 LLCs.
You're joking me. That's how much it's slowing down?
Yeah. So there's a little stat for you.
So where was that number, say 3 months ago?
I don't know what the number. I think everybody was out there buying, but we just pulled the number.
Wow.
Number of people that bought. And a little stat update for you guys. I do this, weekly, and then with the Fidelity people. But yeah, we were at 4,200 actives. We passed 11,200 actives today in roughly about a 10-week period. So if that gives you, if you just divide that out, that's
changing.
New actives a week. And based on the Crawford report, what they're saying is it's not, and what that 103 wholesalers tells you is it's not that people are getting FOMO and listing. And the same number of people that are listing. It's just nobody's buying. So
yeah. No, for sure. There's a lot of fear out there right now. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah,
and I'll be honest, we're trying to not have a lot of fear, and obviously you still have to be smart, of course. But we're having deals where if this was 3-6 months ago, we were buying them no matter what, right? Like no question about it, we were buying them. And now, we've got about, I think we checked the other day, I think we have 23 flips going on right now. And so it's we're starting to offload those. Like we've got 5, I think we got 5 that are hitting the market in the next 10 days. But we're slowing down, but at the same time, we're trying to still buy deals. Like we are, there's no doubt about it, but it's just, I don't know why it's just been more difficult to find deals right now. And I mean, not even saying just from direct to seller, it's been difficult to find deals on email blasts, and from all of it that you receive. So it's been strange, but we are still definitely trying to buy right now.
Yeah. So what's the old buy number and what's the new buy number? If you were buying it, what were you buying it? 85, 75, 80% on,
Well, what we're doing now is that when we're running our comps, we were never running it to where, pushing it on a number that wasn't, even there. We still used to run it to okay, this is the highest comp, so this is what we're going to run it as the highest comp.
Right.
Where now we're running it under the highest comp. We're not a lot under, but I mean, and depending on, like, obviously if there's the highest comp and let's say that it's a nice rehab but nothing crazy, like we feel like the stuff that we do is gonna be most other rehabs out there. And so if it's that situation, say that one sold for 550, but it's like a decent rehab, well then we'll run it at a 550 with like a really nice rehab.
Yeah, but
Right.
what's
So
your
like,
on a 550?
so say we were going to make, we want to make 10%. So if we want to make 55 on a 550 exit, now we're probably going to want to make like 65. We're probably right. We're just kind of adding another, basically just making it safer, just adding another buffer of maybe 10 grand. We don't have a set number. We really look at it on a deal to deal basis and, just
Right.
kind of see if it makes sense. But we're definitely giving ourselves more of a buffer now.
Yeah, I would
You
say,
have, you have to.
yeah, and one of those, and one, kind of what you're talking to is, definitely you want to make sure that you can get out of your deal, right?
Yeah.
And if you're borrowing from a hard money like me,
Yeah.
then the clock's ticking.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, for sure, for sure.
So as you're comping your properties, what Luke's saying is, if it's a really nice remodel, yeah, you can, and you're going to put out a nice product, like Luke puts out a really nice product, then you can probably go with that number. If you're
Right.
going to, cut some corners or anything like that, you're not going to get away with a
No.
hotel anymore.
No, you're not. You're not getting away with hotels at all anymore because your hotel product is going to go up against the full renovation, and there's a chance right now that they might be fairly similar price. And so obviously the full renovation is gonna take it every time. So
Yeah. So if you're not going to take the time to do a really nice job like Luke, you might want to take 10% off that number, or at least 5, and because that's where you're probably going to end up. And then what's really important too to watch is Luke lives out in Gilbert, but there's some of those Gilbert neighborhoods that no matter what you do, they sell in a couple days, right?
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what the
sure.
market looks like. There's
for sure.
a couple of those neighborhoods that they just fly off the market. But
Speaking of, Chris, we've got one that we just put on our contract on Friday for you. If you want to go ahead and dispo it, it's a 3,200 square foot with a pool in Val Vista Lakes.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so it's a nice one.
Send it over. But watching your days on market for subdivisions, because before all this craziness happened, there were subdivisions that were 70, 75, 80 days on market. And then there's some Gilbert neighborhoods that even in a normal market, if it pops up, it sells. It's just it's just one. So understanding which neighborhood you're buying in and and you'll probably see some of those days on market really kind of to shake out. Before if you looked at any of that in the last couple of years, it was like 3, 4, 5. It didn't matter.
Yes.
The neighborhood, but now the neighborhood's going to matter. So watching the days on market for that neighborhood is going to be kind of you can budget like, how long am I going to own this property? And it might be a little longer than that.
That's what I was gonna say. That's the other thing that we're doing is we're adding more holding time now. More holding costs. We're not doing anything crazy, but we're definitely adding at least another month. Where it's, again, if we were originally saying if we put a property on the market, we're only running it as like, okay, we'll have another month worth of, once it's listed, we'll have a month of it being, a month of holding costs, where now we're starting to do 2 months now.
Yeah.
Just because, again, you just have to start, hedging a little bit. You know what I mean? You can't, if the market's changing and you're not making any changes when running your numbers, it's not smart to do that. You're not gonna be in business much longer.
Yeah. I would add a little extra cushion to all your numbers. But back to what Lauren said after we dug in and we're like, oh, how are the commercials going? Kind of what she did say is she is rerunning her database, and her agents are out calling everybody in the database, right?
Yeah.
The market's changing, people's mindsets and attitudes may be changing as well.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a good tip is, you have all those contacts in your database. You paid for all those contacts.
Yeah.
You've nurtured them, so maybe it's time to reach out and say hi to all those contacts and see what they're doing, or reconnect with them, whether they're talking about listing and you're an agent, or they're talking about selling to Luke and I. and maybe if you're a good investor, you probably have an agent on your team, right?
Right.
So maybe switching the risk level and going to, oh, I'll list your house to,
Yeah.
I'll
No,
buy your
exactly.
house,
Yeah.
for some of those people that have both avenues available.
Well,
It's like, I'll just list your house.
and the other thing too is that's going to keep you competitive as well if you're doing that, because then it's like, if you're saying, which we obviously do often, is hey, we have to be at this price point because we're obviously direct to seller. So when you're direct to seller and the seller said they want 600,000 and we have to buy it at 450, yeah, if you can give them an option to potentially list it like you were saying as well, it's just going to kind of give you more leverage as well.
So yeah, if you have any questions for Luke or I, you can put them in the comments. Melissa was on but had to jump off. She said thanks for all the information. I don't know.
No worries.
I don't know which
Melissa.
Facebook group she came from. It doesn't tell me which one she came from.
Heck yeah. I was going to ask Chris for your CRM. Do you have any other systems that like any other systems or apps that you're syncing with it was Black Book?
Yeah, no, the REI Black Book is the
REI Black Book.
CRM I have my students use. I used to have them use the Podio, but I was really kind of impressed with this 15-step follow-up system.
Yeah.
And then just the fact that one of my students got a $20,000 deal on it, I was pretty excited for him. I was like, yeah. I mean, and he hadn't really contacted. It's just that weekly or that monthly email that goes out to him. Just kind of, they just sent a reply and they were ready to go. Like I said,
and it just sent out a text and they responded to the text and just said, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I think once you get kind of down the road and you've had a couple conversations with them and they're like, oh, we're going to sell, in the future, it just still texts them like every 2 weeks and then email them every 2 weeks. So it's just, every 2 weeks they get an email, every 2 weeks they get a text, and it just kind of, reaches out and see if it's still available. But the fact that, that automated system did that for him, it was here's another $20,000.
Yeah, exactly.
That kind of just spurred me on, and then just thinking about Lauren's comment, like, hey, I'm running back through all my people in my database.
Yeah,
because their motivation may be changing. And that conversation is, a lot of people had the fear of like, I didn't want to sell because I didn't know where to go, right? How many times did you hear that story, right? I didn't know where to go. Well, now the inventory is climbing and there's a place to go. Your interest rate will be much higher, but
no, exactly. I know that's the thing that's tough is I think like exactly you said, the interest rates are gonna be higher. So I think you're gonna have some people that are gonna sit on the sidelines because they're like, hey, I might be in a 3.5 or a 4% interest rate right now, and I think what are they up to right now for just a traditional 5?
Well, we saw last Thursday we saw another 50 basis points rate hike. So
we put 6 now.
Yeah, we're 6.25.
Jeez. So you're going to have some people sitting on the sidelines for that reason. There's no doubt about it because they're going to say, I don't want to sell my house. I don't want to get out of my my 4.25 interest rate and go into 6.25. But then you're also going to have a lot of people right now that are going to be saying, hey, you know what? I think the top of the market's gone now, and I think we're still close to the top of the market. So I'm going to try to offload this, before another potential 2008 happens.
Right.
So I think there's we've been noticing what we've been saying with our teams that there's definitely confusion right now with our sellers of just not really 100% knowing what they want to do. We've had 3 contracts in the last 10 days where they signed the contract with us and then called us back within a day or 2 and said, I changed my mind. I'm really sorry. And we've just caught a title and let it, so that if it was just because of an offer that we still have the rights to it. But again, it's just kind of comes down to that confusion of just, I think these sellers not really knowing what the heck they want to do right now.
This is as the market slows, they're doing what they're trying to do is let's try to slow inflation, right? If the housing boom or whatever slows down, obviously the number of flippers in the business will lessen. The the number of contractors being available will be more available. I mean, have you gotten any
Yeah,
calls?
yeah.
I've actually gotten some callbacks from people that are like, "Oh, you called me about that job. Is it still available?"
Yeah. Right? You're like, oh, you're like, you were just trying to charge me a 25% charge on top just for being busy.
Yeah, no, I didn't say that. I was like, I don't usually have projects where I can wait 6 months for the callback to start. I was able to find somebody else. Thank you. But
Yeah, exactly.
I'll put you back in my phone as that you're available.
Yeah, you're available again. No joke. Oh, that's funny. Heck yeah. But yeah, it's been interesting. Definitely been interesting this last 6 weeks. But again, everyone's just gotta. You kind of have to see where you're at in business and just kind of shift. That's really all you can do. It's changing. There's no doubt about it. You just gotta try to stay ahead of the ball.
Yeah. We might have less than 88,000 agents this time next year.
No kidding. God, 88,000. But then what is the stat though? It's like 90% of agents do one deal or less per year.
Yeah.
So I mean, we got 88,000, but you got 80,000 of those maybe doing a deal. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, if any of you guys have any topics you want to hear about, we are always looking for topics. It literally, like I said, it took a student texting me going, "Oh yeah, we should get to talking about CRMs and make sure people aren't using the file folder that Luke pulled."
Hey, I haven't used it now for a couple of years. All right, I've been on on Podio for a while now.
So yeah. Anyway, that's our Tuesday 15th episode.
Heck yeah.
We actually did a couple episodes before this with Justin Colby. We're actually episode 18. So we're just plugging away, but we'd like to hear
Absolutely.
any subjects that you would like to hear. I got actually lots of comments about the throw a party and save some taxes video.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I'm ready to throw that party, Chris. You let me know when.
yeah. I'm going to throw the Christmas gambling party again this year.
Oh, that was fun. That was a fun one. I'm in. You talked me into it. You had roulette there and you had free drinks. So I mean, those are a couple fun things to do.
Yeah, roulette and free drinks. Can't
complain. And you had Ferraris there too, which was kind of cool.
Yeah. So that was my buddy's Scottsdale Ferrari. He just brought him over there and parked him in the front yard. That was fun though.
That was pretty sweet.
All right. Well,
nice
seeing you again on Tuesday. Thanks for everybody that joined us, and we'll be back next Tuesday.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, guys.
See ya.
Later, Chris.